What's up, everybody? Another episode of Verbal Garbage coming at you hot and live. Today's a very special day. We got our first in-guest, in-person studio. My boy Cade is in here with our makeshift put-together studio. Cade, say what's up to the people. We're sharing a mic, guys, so bear with us here.
What's up, everybody? Good to be here.
We got a big UFC show going on today. Me and Cade are both big MMA fans. He's actually stepped inside the ring, everybody, done a kickboxing match against another bartender. Tell us about that experience, the build up doing a fight in real life.
It was good. I felt good. I was a little bit nervous going into it. Camp was good. Weight was good. I made weight within like a week before.
Dang. What were you fighting at? What kind of weight cut was it? Was it
170?
Okay.
I went into camp at like 185.
Damn. All right. So my boy's shedding off about 15 pounds. For all you people like me out there that dream of fighting, it's not as pretty as it looks. You got to go through that grind and cut that weight off. So, Cade, the people out there who don't know, they're picking up a little bit of that accent. Tell them a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how you made it over to the States.
Well, from Scotland. Family moved here when I was 7. So I've been here for about 20 years.
Damn, okay.
And actually going back in 2 days for a month.
This was an urgent podcast, guys. He was about to be leaving the States, and, with the COVID hysteria these days, we don't know if we'll ever make it back. So we had to get him in, and let alone a studio debut. Cade and I met each other doing jiu-jitsu at a gym, share a mutual love for martial arts, and over the past weekend, just went golfing together. We were talking a little bit about the card, and we decided it was the perfect time to do a podcast. Did you watch the UFC Paris card at all? Were you able to catch that?
The what?
UFC Paris, the card that just passed.
Oh, yeah. The
Ciryl Gane over Tai Tuivasa in the main event. And then we have Whitaker and Vettori in the co-main. You want to start the co-main event?
Yeah, Vettori and Whitaker.
So give me your thoughts if you don't mind. You go first, and I'll kind of go off of you.
I mean, it played out how I thought it would. I figured it would probably be a decision win.
Vettori just kind of standing there, hand up, not taking too many risks, kind of plodding forward the whole time. Yeah. Whitaker, I was talking to John, one of our friends, John. Whitaker had this it's just like he always does, has that blitzing style where it's almost like a point karate type thing where he's on the outside, he rushes in with that left and right or that two. So super impressed with him.
You think he can fight for the belt again?
Well, that's the problem, right? There's already two fights against Izzy. Yeah. So coming up in November, it's that huge card in Madison Square Garden, I believe, where Izzy, for you you don't know, he's fighting Pereira, who they fought in Glory Kickboxing way back in the day. And Pereira, I believe, knocked him out with the left hook, correct?
Yep.
So they're going to be rematching now. It's not kickboxing, guys. It's MMA. Stylebender's got a little bit of jiu-jitsu off his back, maybe, but we're going to find out real quick.
We found out when he fought Yan.
Yeah, and they fought 2 times or once in kickboxing?
Twice.
And was Pereira the winner both times?
He won a decision, I think, first fight, and the second fight was a knockout.
So I'm a huge Whitaker fan. He's probably my favorite middleweight, but when you fight the champion 2 times and you lose, you kind of hit that wall. So where does he go from here? What I was thinking was him and Paulo Costa. Kind of gives him a little bit of that time in between the title fight, so he's not waiting on the winner of that necessarily. But as a Whitaker fan, I don't know if I love that matchup.
No, if he beats Paulo Costa, what happens?
He solidifies the title fight even more. And once you're at 2 with champion and you lost both, you're kind of at a point where you can be denied. If you get to the point where you beat the number 1 contender and you're setting up a third title, you can't deny him. Am I crazy? Or
I mean, I think he already shouldn't be denied. I think he should be the one.
Well, let's pull up the landscape at middleweight real quick just to see, because
pull that up.
I don't know who the rankings. All right, so I don't know if you want to see it, but middleweight we got right here. We got Whitaker. Izzy's the champ. Then we got Whitaker at number 1. Cannonier.
Cannonier's a good
but shot. Cannonier and who were supposed to just fight, and it fell out, right?
Yeah. Oh wait, who was he supposed?
Sean Strickland.
And
Strickland's had some kind of injury, so that fell apart. So now maybe
Cannonier.
I don't know. I don't want to see what, like you say. Now that I'm talking about it, I don't really want to see Whitaker have to go through it. But
that's what I'm saying. If
can you see another matchup there that you think would be, because everything he's punching down? You know what I mean?
Yeah, nothing's really anything big for him.
Yeah,
to be honest. It's all lose unless he moves weight class.
Yeah, so I don't know what we're gonna do with Bobby Knuckles over at middleweight there.
Whitaker versus Covington for the.
So is Covington moving up, or is Robbie moving down?
Move down.
Robbie started off, if you guys remember, he was a welterweight.
Moved down.
Getting our boy Wonder Boy Thompson with that little KO, Whitaker TKO back in the day. But Yeah, I mean, he's always been a little bit slimmer, faster for 85, so I guess it's a potential move.
I
But
think it'd be good for him.
yeah, right now, like you said, like he's fought in the champ twice and lost both times, and every other fight is a big risk where he's fighting down and risking his place. So,
Unless he's looking for money, I don't think it's the move for him.
man. All right, real quick, I just had a random thought that came up aside from MMA. Scotland. Now, paint the picture for us American folks. If you're just walking out, to your backyard, here we're seeing, little geckos, little squirrels and such. What are the Scottish animals to be seen? We got any exotic like
nothing crazy like what's not badgers.
Oh, that's exotic.
It's not a badger. I forget what it's called. It's like a small badger. But there's no like big game. I mean, if you go to the Highlands, you'll get like obviously there's lots of sheep in Scotland, lots of stag.
Okay.
Highland cows are pretty interesting. Long hair, long horns.
All right. What are they called? Highland cows?
Highland cows, yeah.
What is that? My brother, big Scotch drinker. Is that something that you're a big part of? Just being from the motherland,
really.
or
I'm supposed to, but I can't get behind it.
Just my brother had me try like a peated wood Scotch, and it just had such a flavor you can't get over. Oh yeah, these ones with the big head of hair, my boy. Yeah, these Scottish creatures. Now you're not walking out back and folding your clothes and seeing those. You got to go to a little ranch establishment or something, I'm assuming.
Farm of some kind.
I've always been fascinated. I'm not much of a traveler, and you've been all over.
Yes, I did a year in New Zealand.
What's the flight? The flight to New Zealand?
I think my total flight time was like 35 hours.
Oh, that's mama.
That's layovers. I think it was a flight to Fiji was like 12 or 13 hours.
Bro, I have a flight to Richmond, Virginia this week, and I have an hour layover in Charlotte. I'm dreading that.
Oh, no, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. That's nothing.
Jesus Christ. So Fiji, is that? I've only heard like Mount Fiji. Is that in New Zealand?
No, it's an island.
Fiji Island, dog.
It's like I think it was still like 6 hours from New Zealand. So.
Damn. What were you doing out there? Were you studying? Were you just traveling with friends?
I went with a friend and we just started to kind of backpack. We knew somebody over there, stayed with them for the first 2 weeks, and then jumped into hostels, found work, and then.
So that's minimal planning. You just kind of.
No.
As far as the trip, I mean, you pretty much booked the trip, the flight, and just go.
Booked the flight to stay with our friend for 2 weeks, and that was it.
Man, so you were just getting back from Mexico. Was that a similar deal? Was that minimal planning, just going out? Did you have a little bit of stuff laid out?
No, it was more chilled out. We had a resort.
So do we find the older we get, the little bit more we're getting in planning, or is it just depending on the trip?
It depends on the trip.
So
this whole trip I got coming up for a month, I don't have too much planned.
And you got family out there, I'm assuming, or
so I have actually from when I was in New Zealand, I have like 4 friends.
Damn.
In England, so I'm gonna stay with a couple of them.
So you met them by traveling, now you're traveling with them again?
Well, they live over there, so I'm gonna go and see them at their house.
Let's fucking go. And are you staying with them, or are you gonna be bouncing around?
I'll stay with them for a few days and then bounce. I'm gonna go to Ireland as well, and then
Scotland. So. How would you rate your freeloading skills on a scale of 1 to 10? Like
I made it.
Me?
To
me, like I work selling tools, going into shops every day, and like every shop I go into, if I see a fridge, I'll open the fridge. I'm like, hey, can I get one of these? Or people have candy jars or crackers, and I'm grabbing it. I'm always coming back on the truck with something. So I'm grabbing a number 10 for my rating. If I'm being modest, I got to be honest.
I'm not too much.
Respectfully, I don't go in and just take shit. I'm always asking nicely, making sure, thanking them on the way out, making sure that they know that the treat is going into someone who appreciates hands. Sometimes you give out some little trinkets here and there. Am I right, camera? I keep trying to find the camera because, as you guys know, I'm used to doing these solos. We're up here, baby. I'm used to doing the solo episodes where you just sit right in front of the laptop and record. And I had to wear the hat because the light was, on 2 days right here. It's not the good look. So we had to put on the Eagles hat to cover up the. It's shining, but it's receding, baby. So we're hanging on for dear life. But no, we're not. What we do, I shave my head every other day, pretty much. But sometimes I'll just so I get lazy and like if I have. This is, I think, 2 days ungroomed. And now I'm like, I hate it because I hate the stubble. I like the shit fresh, clean. But I was literally talking to my sister. She was, shout out to Jilly. I love you. I sent her a picture of this and was on FaceTime, just kind of asking her for opinions about some shit. And I was like, as I was looking, I was walking around. I was like, oh, you know what? My opinion is I need a fucking hat. So we're hatted up now.
That's fun.
Let's jump over.
My neck is the same thing. I know it's like every one day I have to shave.
Oh, dude. Well, are you similar to me? I always talk about the beard envy, and we were just talking about mushrooms, the penis envy, not anything like that, but the beard envy is something I have where I look at other dudes, I'm like, damn, because I can never get the clean,
the perfect.
You know, when you're doing the neck beard, guys, you know what I'm talking about. You're trimming up here, and you know, one side, like I think this side is my pretty decent side. Yeah, then this side, I always come over here and it goes haywire. So, have you developed any tricks of the trade over the years? Maybe being in New Zealand, do they have like reverse mirrors that can help you?
No tricks. Still terrible at shaving.
That's why we kind of had to go like the quasi, you know. Same thing with the goatee. I'll cut the beard off, and then I'll have the goatee, and I'll have the goatee looking good, and I'll go astray on one little part, and then we got to chop that and go to like the chopped cheese, whatever this is called. Yeah. So, what's the beard the beard experience been like for you in life, bro?
Well, actually, the last three years I've technically had a beard. If you can see.
Okay, is that just decent, freshly
decent?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Used to be.
See, I see what you mean though. The neck's going a little bit further down on this side than we do here,
it just doesn't match up evenly.
It's okay.
I used to have patches everywhere, so now it's finally coming in joins.
Now this is something I always do on my work day, and finally got the camera. How does it feel to finally have a beard?
It feels wonderful.
I remember when I was in high school, I just got this crazy like the mutton chop deal where I would just have the sideburns around to the chin.
The douchebag chin.
Dude, and it's like you see the people with, and shout out to my boy Pat. I know you're listening. He's someone who still can rock the chin strap.
Oh, really?
It's a dying breed. There's not many of them out there. And when you see the chin strap, you know, sometimes you might want to go to a negative place like the Jersey Shore and think of some of the Guidos and let's put some respect back on the chin strap. There's people like Pat that have persevered, you know. Perseverance, Pat, respecting the strap.
Speaking of the strap, have you ever seen the penguins with the chin strap?
Let's pull it up.
Chin strap penguins. They have a chin strap beard. It's the most glorious.
See, and what I want to get to is being able to have that computer right here where the camera's up there, so I can share the screen so the people that are watching, I can pull up the what is it called?
Chin strap penguin. They have legit chin straps.
When I was just on mushrooms the other day, I was talking about that on a solo episode about how penguins just have this unlimited amount of potential if only they could fly.
I know. They're my favorite animal though. They're so cool.
Are these ones them? I don't see much. Oh, I see now. I see what you're saying. All right, dog.
That's a chin strap.
See now, anytime you remember Google back in the old days where you would click a picture and it would just go huge.
Yeah.
Now they have like the side pick where it just shows up. So, special occasion.
Chin strap.
Let's go, baby. So yeah, penguins. What are your thoughts on penguins? Do you think they serve any purpose? Do you enjoy watching them on TV? Are you what are your thoughts?
They are actually my favorite animal.
Is that right?
They are. Yes.
Now give me the case for penguins.
I just they're
not a good start.
First of all, have you ever seen the movie Happy Feet? Wonderful movie. Shout out to Happy Feet.
Shout out. I literally was just talking about it. Come on.
Mumble. No, great movie.
Absolutely.
I just think they're kind of misunderstood. They're like if you ever watch the emperor penguins with their mates, the way they work to keep the egg warm, it's just
all huddling in and
cool process, big group effort for everything they do. The way they glide through the water is pretty crazy. They can't fly, that's right. If you ever watch them run from like a leopard seal. That shit's nuts.
It's time.
That's why I respect penguins. You can survive through these crazy ass leopards.
You sold me. I mean, I was just always thinking like I love them. They're cute, but I'm like, what are they like? They're a bird who can't fly, and it's like, what are you doing? And
they are clumsy too, though. They're really funny to watch.
They are. Are you a big fan of like watching? I probably watch every like The Hunt, Planet Earth, Blue Planet. You like watching all that stuff
for sure.
In your travels, do you ever make it a point to go out and see any kind of? I don't want to say like nature, but do you go on any kind of like sea expeditions or anything like that to go out and see shit?
No, I haven't done sea shit. Yeah, that's a good one. I haven't done any sea expeditions, but I definitely like to see the nature side of things and do the hikes and stuff.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think like New Zealand, Australia, they've got some of the craziest wildlife just ever. And I'm like, can you just go to like a zoo there? Or do you go on like, what are they like? Oh, the outback, right?
Yeah.
So you go on like the little Jeep like type of deals.
Yeah. I mean, I only spent a month in Australia.
Only a month. I guess you kind of, but with those trips, you have to go for at least 3 to 5 weeks, right? To make the flight worth it.
Yeah, for sure. To get adjusted and everything. But I mean, I went for a month and this was after a year in New Zealand and then a month in Thailand. So I was on the low scale of money. My funds were running real low. Shout out to Liam and Killy for
We love you guys.
Hooking me up with some cash when I needed it. And they helped me out while I was over there. And all the farm work had been destroyed by cyclones, so we couldn't get any work. So I ended up having to come
cyclones.
Home.
What's now exactly what? It's not a hurricane, but what are we? It's developing in the sea. Talk to me about cyclone.
I wish I had more information. It's a small tornado, from what I'm guessing. Anyway, that time I was in Australia, they had apparently the worst cyclones in a long, long time, and all the farm work had been wiped out. So couldn't find work and had to cut my trip short and go home.
So what was that like? Was it just a panic? Because you obviously don't buy round trip tickets for there. You buy one flight to New Zealand and then you go from New Zealand to Thailand. Like, I can't even really fathom this, honestly. As someone who's never left the country and being as spontaneous as you are, just like leaving the country and then going from country to country all without going back home.
Well, I technically lived in New Zealand for a year, so I had a working holiday visa.
Okay. So did you have to apply to get what's it called, a working holiday?
Yeah, working holiday visa. But if you have an American passport.
Nope.
You don't have an American passport?
I still have my application sitting on my fucking nightstand ready to apply.
Get your passport. Yeah. Go online to working holiday visa New Zealand. Just type that in on Google. Comes up, you fill out the paperwork. I believe it's still free. It was free when I did it anyway. And being a U.S. citizen, you get approved like that.
And wait, that gives you the right to be able to go there, live there, and work there?
You have a year, yeah, where you can.
And what kind of jobs? Are you limited, or can you pretty much, like, does education play a role in that? If you have a degree in something, can you go and work as a scientist, or do you limited to like the?
No, you can. I mean, there is a limit for like if you were to go there with a degree, you could get a really good job and apply for like a citizenship through the work, and they could sponsor you and stuff like that. But for the working holiday visa, you have to. I think it's at least 3 to 6 months of like agriculture or farm, so stuff that helps the country, basically jobs they need.
What God, I'm trying to take this all in. It's fucking crazy. The working holiday visa. Oh, like, do most people do that just to like absorb the culture for a year? Are they trying to see if they want to live there? Like, what was your main?
Mine was just a getaway.
Just get out.
It was just an opportunity to leave for a little while.
And when you were in Scotland at this time?
No, I was here. So I was here.
Florida?
Yep. So I think would have been 20 at the time, 21. I think 21.
Damn.
And a young friend and I just moved and just wanted to see new shit.
God, yeah, it's something I honestly wish I've done or wish I could do or hope to do in the future. But now I've just not even have my passport yet. And I'm like, where would I go first? Because there's just so many places. And I talk about it on here all the time, how I'm such like an Americanized little bitch when it comes to just like certain ways of living, the food and the toiletries, the double ply toilet paper or death, and if I don't have a bidet to chase with my double ply toilet paper, we're in trouble. So
the bidets, that's funny.
I don't know.
In Thailand, they had bum guns.
Are they handheld?
Yeah, attached to the toilet seat. It's like a little hose with a little spray at the end.
I should have shown you before we went live. I should have shown you the fucking bidet, and you could have appreciated it as you were.
I approve of the bidet.
It's a way of life.
And it is a way of life.
It makes you. Yeah, and I'm like, once you just have some kind of mechanism to be able to clean after said mess, it's a relief, honestly. And I'm like, when you go on trips and stuff, and it's either shitty toilet paper or no bidet or the combination of them both I don't know. It's just it feels free. It feels freeing and liberating to be able to speak in person to a guest because it's always on Zoom where I'm talking to my guests about the bidets, and I'm like, listen. I'm still trying to get sponsored by Hello Tushy at our jiu-jitsu gym. I think I have 3 or 4 of the dudes there that after a couple of weeks of just talking to them into it, they broke down and bought them. Reviews are through the roof.
Yeah, it's a way of life.
You go on Amazon and you get a fucking Hello Tushy bidet for $50 now, and it's just like,
you can't go.
Why? Back. What's the hold up? And people, flushable wipes, fuck you. A, they're not flushable. They clog up your septic. And B, then you're just taking it and just throwing it in the trash, I could literally do an hour and a half on this, but the working visa. What kind of job did you have when you first went over there?
My first job was terrible. I had a couple of terrible jobs over there.
Talk to me.
The first one was pruning vines to prepare for kiwi season. So basically, you just have to set up. I mean, for all the fruit and stuff too. Like I did. Cherry picking was one of the jobs I did, which was terrible as well. Literally you get paid by like the amount of.
Did you have AirPods or anything? Were you able to?
Yeah, but
at least pot it up or something. Yeah,
kind of hot. It wasn't terrible. I mean, there's people from all over the world. They're doing the same thing. It's kind of cool, but after a couple of weeks of.
Are you just in like a single file line of cherry trees, just all picking together in unison?
In a big orchard or field or sometimes vineyard. Like I worked on a vineyard too, setting up all the wood posts before the vines get.
So pretty cool life experiences, though. Stuff that I've never thought about or experienced.
Jobs I would never wish to do again.
So is that a lot of the jobs that they try to fill? Is like, how do I phrase those kind of jobs? Like agricultural labor. You know what I mean? Like what is that? Where it's the food or beverage industry that you're helping with some kind of production? Is that a big popular thing?
Well, it's just for
you know what I mean, right?
Like it's the same thing. Like here, you think about a lot of people here,
like the convicts, right?
Well, not even that. So you go to a fruit place now, like a tomato field or any field of fruit where people are picking fruit. It's not normally people that live in that country or from that country that are doing it.
So here's just like a bunch of Haitians in the fucking strawberry fields or something.
Well, I think the fields on is it Gladiolus?
I've never seen a field.
No, well, no. It's like a harvest place almost.
I'm sure I have.
But it's never like, have you ever met somebody here that's, oh yeah, I work at the.
No, I was hoping you were saying you did one of them here. I was like, damn, you're kind of rare, and that's why I was wondering, is that like. I'm trying to phrase this like you were obviously young at the time, but is that like the people like is like the worst case scenario for the people that are coming in, but the best case scenario for the country, like those jobs, because not really anyone local wants to do them, but they need them to get done, so they force that on the people that are coming in on the visas. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it's not forced, but I think it's kind of hand in hand.
But I'm like, is that like at the top of their list to hand off as far as jobs go? They would much prefer
jobs and. I mean, unless you have degrees that benefit like teachers.
Yeah.
Teachers are well respected over there as well. You can probably find a job quite easily.
I think they need a little more respect over here, honestly, with the amount that
everywhere
law enforcement, teachers, they get paid for what they do. Like, to me, teachers are so important.
Job,
shaping the youth and you're shaping the most impressionable people that are taking over. I don't know. It's just crazy. And I've had some really good teachers in my life and some really bad ones, and you learn to appreciate both because you realize what a struggle it is. And
you understand the bad teachers now,
bro. The fucking
the way they were,
the piece of shit that I was in school, dude. Like,
not just you, think of everybody.
No, I know, but man,
school, like, imagine your class. Just remember your classes,
and remember that feeling too, dude. Of like, you would have a teacher that you would either like or dislike, whatever. But then they would miss a day, and then the poor and like my mom has done substitute teaching in the past, and you realize how bad you feel because like you see the sub and you're like, fresh meat. And you just totally take advantage of these poor people that are literally like, if I told you some of the stuff I did, like I'm trying to remember this one story where we had some kind of substitute and he was like, we were just victimizing him the whole entire class. And he walked outside of the classroom and I got on all fours and crawled under his desk and was like picking grapes out of my little lunch and putting them on his seat. So he sat on my grapes, like just such little stupid, asshole. Such an asshole. And I'm like, that guy's just coming in, trying to probably provide for his family or do something good. And I'm just being a fucking putz, dude. And there's so many there's so many other things about like, I was just connected with my friend from way back in the day. And I hate to ruin the story, but I'm like, he was a guy that would come in and be subbing for tech class, technology. We were just sitting on computers learning those. And his last name was Wasik. And like his way of getting our attention, because I was like the ringleader and just the absolute terrorist. And he would have take the mic so I can make sure this is clear. He would have a ruler to discipline, like not us, but to try to get our attention. He had a big fucking wooden ruler and would smack it on the table right when he would try to get us to shut up. And he thought that was going to make me like quiet. All it did was like right when he stopped, I was like, whack it. And he's like, what? I was like, whack it. So the whole entire class, whack it. And his name was Wasik. So we were calling him Whack It Wasik. And dude, we fucking went into the closet and found all the supplies and had all those little, remember the shitty plastic rulers or the tape, the rulers, all the multicolored. And we were just all sitting there whacking it. And this poor guy is sitting up there fucking turning red, veins are pulsating. And I'm like, we're such assholes, dude. But I mean, honestly, it was one of the funniest things of all time.
That sounds like it was an amazing day for the class.
Bro, sure. He fucking had a thing around his neck, and it wasn't a whistle, but it looked like a whistle. And after we were chanting "whack it," we were chanting "blow the whistle."
Oh my god!
And just imagine this guy, man. And I'm like, he ended up. My sister married to Mike right now. Her husband. they're just celebrating a year anniversary. Actually, shout out to that. But he was neighbors with this guy, and he ended up hearing about my story and was like, "Dude, what up?" So
he heard from him or through
like from me, and I told him, I was like, "Hey, we had this guy, Mr. Wasik." He said, "Jim Watt, that was my neighbor." I'm like, "What?" And I think rest in peace. Unfortunately, Jimmy passed away, and it's a great story. You know, I don't feel like great about it. I feel bad being an asshole, but when you're a kid, you're learning, you're growing up, and now I try to respect everyone I come in touch with, try to be very positive and try to be respectful and try to change my tone. So
that's good. We're growing up.
You know, dude, and this is the beautiful thing, dude, is like when you're on Zoom, you're definitely limited to like the conversation flowing like this, where we're talking UFC middleweights, and then we're talking fucking penguins and cows, and then now we're going back to Cyril Gane. What did you think of his performance on Saturday? Last Saturday,
technical,
I believe, right?
Very technical. Yeah.
And what is it? He's in and out. He's catching you with one or two or three.
He doesn't fight like a heavyweight.
No.
The heavyweight that we're used to anyway.
Exactly.
He's more athletic. He's got some technique about him. It's not just all power shots.
For sure. I mean, you look at
Francis. Though. I think it's dangerous in that division. Because if you're not finishing somebody, all it takes is one shot.
For sure, but what is the landscape at heavyweight right now, right? I mean, that is probably the most. Yeah, but like how though? We're saying we're putting all our eggs in the John Jones basket for heavyweight when he hasn't fought in how long?
I know,
but and it's like look at his fighting style and his victories since USADA has come around. I hate to bring it up, but his first fight back, OSP, dog shit. All the fights since, he hasn't really done anything that's really impressed me personally. I mean,
knocking out DC.
Okay, I was gonna say, but it's tainted, dude. The picograms are floating everywhere, and it's just like, I mean, if any of this stuff is in your way, like if that slips in your way, I know what it's like to have some elbow space. So the Parrot's not a huge deal to the set. We can live without him, or the Toucan, or the Eagles Cup, you know, and the UFC. I thought it was gonna be apropos. Real quick, let's do a roster check. We got the Phillies Cup. We got the Royce Crispy Treats. We got the Snap-on Garden Gnome from the 11/16 wrench. Hit me up if you need standard or metric wrenches. We got a promo coming up soon. We got the Philadelphia Whiskey. Yeah, it doesn't taste good, but goddamn, it's got the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia, so let's fucking go. The UFC hat given to me in addition to the shirt from my boy Nico Price is in the UFC. I got a care package. Let's fucking go. We got the Super Bowl champ Eagles Cup. We got Toucan Sam over there, even though it's not a toucan. So, yeah, the John Jones thing.
Mickey.
Oh, yeah. Mickey, his nose has been chopped off. That's for going woke, Mickey. Ever since you went woke, got chopped off your nose to keep you aware of what's to come. Now, just playing. Bring back Gina Carano. No. Jesus. But John Jones, right? I mean, give me the case. He's supposedly going to be fighting Stipe, but then I was hearing rumors about Cyril versus John Jones. Do you really want to see that fight? I was thinking about that right away. I'm like, those are two counter strikers who are so technical. They're on the outside. I respect it. I've never been in the cage like you, so I'm not taking away from it. But I'm like, heavyweight, you want to see that high stakes, high thrill, like no idea what's going to happen. Sorry. If you need to answer it, I can.
Sorry, people.
Hey, this airtime's going to be worth it. You ruined my point about John Jones. But him and Cyril both being on the outside, I'm not a huge fan of that matchup. Stipe, John Jones, I like it. John Jones and Francis, I like it. Francis and Cyril rematch.
Don't like it.
You're going to have to do more for me, right?
No, I agree with you.
So, go, please.
I think Jones and Stipe, that makes sense. I think Stipe still is the best heavyweight.
And they're saying that by the end of the year, right? That's the rumors.
John said he's fighting by the end of the year. But we've heard that before.
I was going to say.
Not getting my hopes up. And yeah, like you said, he's been kind of boring. John's last couple of fights have been trash. But skill-wise, the heavyweight division, he's miles ahead of everybody there. Everybody. Cyril is the similar style, but half as good. And look at his success in that division.
Now, let's just think. People like he was fighting OSP. I don't know if he fought Ozdemir, but people like Nikita Krylov, those kind of guys that are at that weight class. The power discrepancy between people like that and then Tai Tuivasa and Derek Lewis and Frank. I mean, it is a huge range. So John could make a little mistake here and there, you know, coming in and out and getting caught with a little counter strike and surviving it. At heavyweight, I don't know if he's going to have that same luxury. So is that something that worries you, or do you think he's just too quick for these guys and too technical?
Way too quick. Look, I mean, you want to see Derek Lewis versus John Jones?
No, definitely not. I'm reaching here. Heavyweight is always one of those divisions, you know, like they tried to get rid of flyweight years ago. Fuck you. Like You watch any flyweight fight, dude, they are so fast. They're so technical. Yeah, maybe there's not a ton of knockouts, but you're going to see a knockout once in a while due to technique or more TKOs. But you're going to see fucking submissions. The scrambles when these fights get to the ground and you see it, bro. Demetrius Johnson, I don't know if you watch that fight the other week.
Did you watch
that? Of course, dude. And it's like ONE FC is doing some cool stuff. They're on Amazon Prime now. They're making their way over to America. So I'm hopeful. And Demetrius never really got
those knees though.
What, the knees of the body?
Down knees to the head.
I don't really like it, but
the knee that smashed Mighty Mouse in the
first one. Yeah, true, but in reverse though, you watch all these cat and mouse games that are being played in MMA now in America. I don't say America, but you know how one is based in Singapore. The cat and mouse game, and I'm all about protecting the fighter, but these guys will be on their knees, and it just happened the other day where someone was putting it was just in that France card. Someone was on their 2 knees. He put his palm on the mat. He was doing this to protect himself, and then the fighter went uppercut him. And the guy looks at the ref right away. And he's like, no, that's legal. It's like these guys are getting to the point now where they're in the live fight, but they're looking for any little part. And I get it, dude. I'm not speaking from Monday morning quarterback. I know what the stakes are. But that little game frustrates me a little bit. So I don't know what your thoughts are on that. That downed opponent, the three points of contact.
That does make sense. I mean, I would feel that way too, but do you think the knee solves that problem?
I guess
it kind of does, because you have to be active. Because if you're sitting there, you're going to get knocked out with a knee.
Right, and I guess it's different in unpadded knee versus a padded fist. Big difference. But my point is, like, now these fighters are trying so hard to rely on the ref for a point of safety at a point where they're relying on a limb. You know, where I don't know. It's definitely a weird rule. I don't love it in Asia, but I also kind of love how they're bringing back the old pride style, just like, let's fight. Let's be brutal. It's a cage fight. And, you know, there's Joe Rogan talked about all the time, the difference between the 12-6 elbow versus and there's times where guys are doing stuff like 12-6, it looks like, or that one when you see guys wrapped up on the side of the cage and the other guy will do those elbows. Like, how's that not just as bad?
When they have him like here and
like that's what I think I meant. It was that position where, you know what I mean, when the one guy has his head. If we got up and replicated right now, I mean, we could probably show. Here, I'll show people at home how to escape a triangle real quick. No, I'm just kidding. But the heavyweight landscape. I would have trouble escaping yours. You haven't done it in a while, but the heavyweights are always been a couple exciting fights here and there, but the landscape overall is just kind of a mess. I mean, other than John Jones, we got.
It's not good.
What do we got? It's Francis is the champ, but he's vacant, right? Or they had an interim champ going on, or
didn't they make?
Or was that when Cyril fought him and then lost? He was the interim. I think that already happened, right?
Yeah. Okay. He lost it, but still, the way they did that was still weird.
Stupid. Francis the champion, Cyril number 1, Stipe number 2, Ty number 3, who just lost to Cyril.
See, but that's what Ty. How are you going to tell me Tuivasa is number 3?
No, that's how you know the division's exactly. And then you got someone like Curtis Blades, who I think is legit.
He is legit.
And then you got Tom Aspinall and Sergey Pavlovich.
Oh, that's the one.
So Aspinall had, if you remember that fight, was it Blades? Him and Blades were just fighting, and Aspinall threw out his knee after, I believe, was it like 2 minutes in? I mean, they had some really nice back and forth. Aspinall was hitting him with some kicks, if I remember, some nice counter checks, some check left hooks.
I think he's the next champion.
Aspinall?
Yeah.
But how's he going to come back after? It's an ACL injury, right?
It's tough. Yeah, I mean, he's going to need like 6 months at least.
And just that's the time when I'm not going to say he's in his prime yet. He's probably a little bit pre-prime. But these are such valuable reps that he's missing out on right now, where he's not getting that cage time. He's not getting those reps and where other guys are, even if they're not in the cage or sparring, where he's out rehabbing. I just think, and
he's still young, though. He's still young.
Darren Till, speaking of Aspinall, other teammates.
Shout out to Darren Till.
I don't know, man.
That's a legend.
I tried, dude, and there's just always this shit with him. And now there's something the other day about some bad DUI. You hear that?
No.
Some recent DUI with Darren Till, if I'm not mistaken.
I did not see this.
And it's like, bro, just get back in the cage and fight. Win, lose, or draw. Like, you're gonna get better. And he's just, dude, take a sip of that. Come on, son. We took that pre-pod bong Rizzo, and you haven't even taken a little sip yet. You want some ice, dog?
No, I'm good.
I think there was some recent news about Darren Till getting into some kind of trouble. And
I didn't see that. That's not good. He's been training with
Stockholm police back in July. So let's wrap that. I'm glad you said that. Let's wrap up the heavyweights. Cyril Gane, next move. Is he fighting Blades? Is he waiting for Aspinall? Is he fighting? Like, what's he doing? I'll read them to you again, just so you have an idea. It was Cyril Gane obviously the champion, then Cyril Gane, Stipe, Ty, Curtis, Pavlovich, Aspinall, John Jones, Volkov, Lewis.
I would say for Cyril Gane, he either waits to see what happens with Francis.
Because it's going to be John and Stipe most likely. Francis is going to wait for the winner of that. So Cyril's kind of in a shitty spot.
He is in a shit spot. He just beat the guy they threw at him, though, so they kind of have to throw him a bone now.
Right.
Unless he wants to wait and maybe he's promised the winner of Francis versus the winner of Jones.
But you know how those UFC promises are. It's like
back to back, and
what else could they ask? Like they gave him a main event in France. MMA was illegal in France. It was the debut event in France, if I'm not mistaken, for any MMA. Maybe not, but I think UFC might have been the first ones. But even if not, they're the biggest promotion ever. They're out there. No one's touching them. They go to France. He gets a highlight reel finish, beats a pretty good guy, a highlight or a high contender. So everything's stacked up for him, but the landscape's not really in his favor. So
I think he could beat Francis, though.
I think he could, too. It wasn't like Francis. What was it? Just a boring decision, right?
Yeah.
Neither of them ever really took any risks. And Francis has been a couple of those fights now where it's boring decision or highlight reel knockout. So
his wrestling has improved.
It definitely has. I forgot about that. Very good point. Couple stuffs on Stipe and the reversals. Excellent point. Excellent point. Yeah, I don't know what to make of it right now. So I guess we can kind of leave that TBD, right? I mean, is that, I don't know.
So much to wait for.
Stipe and John is what we're hoping for. Personally, I'm hoping, I guess, as much as I love Stipe, John Jones winning. I think it would just be really good for MMA. Having him go to the heavyweight and taking over there would be fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe have someone like Yuri move up, fight John Jones for double champ shit, and that stylistic matchup, dog. Because I'm a huge Yuri fan, and you just got to think
he's a wild man.
The moving up and moving around divisions is such a common thing now, and now that we're doing this, we got to do this like once a month, just an MMA show. Now that we got it going, because I'm like, there's so much to talk about. But let's move forward to UFC. Is it 279?
279.
We got coming up this weekend, guys.
Hamzat,
headlined by Hamzat Chimaev versus Nate Diaz. Co-main event, we got our boy Tony Ferg moving up to welterweight.
What's with that?
He's fighting Li Jingliang. I think they just needed someone. Tony's game. The third fight from the top, not being talked about. Someone super underrated. Daniel Rodriguez, if you know him, he's fighting Kevin Holland.
He smashed Kevin
Lee,
right?
Hate the fight for Kevin Holland. Hate it. He killed Kevin Lee.
That's
like you said.
He's just massive. He's a big.
He's massive.
Guy.
He's so strong. He's brutal. The fight for Kevin Holland, I hate it. I love Kevin Holland. I'm a huge fan. I hate the fucking fight.
So
I hate it.
Why do you think they gave him that fight?
I don't know.
They've given Kevin Holland a few questionable matchups.
And he's the Superman of the UFC, constantly breaking up these burglaries, smoking weed, talking shit. Came off the Contender Series. Dana White called him Big Mouth, said he wasn't going to sign him. Hey, his fighting does the talking for him. He does have a big mouth. He talks a lot, but it's pretty damn good. I hate that fight.
Terrible. He's gonna get wrestle fucked the whole
I don't like it. Irene Aldana, number 4, bantamweight girl, going against Macy Chiasen. If you got any food smoking or anything in the air fryer, that's the time to go get it. You know, if you got some Panzerottis in or something, maybe go flip it during that fight. You know, I like to do like, let's say 10.5 minutes on each side. So I'll put it in right before that fight. I go hit a bong, wash your asshole out with the Hello Tushy Bidet for $52.99 on Amazon. Give me my fucking sponsorship. I'm tired of asking. I'm passionate as hell. I have the spirit. My audience is growing week by week. Maybe that's not true, but let me tell you something, Tushy. I am desperate. I want you to be in my corner. I want to have the little logo. I want to wear a t-shirt. I want to have a little prop bidet sitting on my table. Anything it takes. All right. Yeah, so that's just, like I said, go wash your asshole. Literally make it up. 3D print me one. Yeah, if you got to wash your asshole, take a bong pack, get nice and high, flip the food that's in the oven or the air fryer. That's the fight to do it. Irene Aldana by finish. We're going to predict it. But first fight of the main card, Jan Kutelava, always painted up as the Hulk at the weigh-ins, going against Johnny Walker. Excited for this fight. Kay, give us your thoughts on the opening fight. I'll pull over so you can see last fights, the records, all that kind of stuff. And just give me your thoughts, because Johnny Walker, if you guys remember, came into the UFC. Slump, right? Yes, and he came in with a lot of hype. I think his first big fight, he did the worm, separated his shoulder.
Separated his own shoulder.
Go from there. If you want me to pull up his last couple fights, I'll do it real quick.
Yeah, pull up the records there.
Bring up.
I think Kutulaba's coming off a loss too, yeah?
Yep, both are. I can't see where each of the guys has fought, but just talk Johnny Walker for a minute. I'll pull up his fighters.
So Johnny Walker, when he started, he looked like he was going to be a problem. Everybody thought he was going to be the one to fight Jones, right?
Yep,
he was talking 100%. About fighting Jones.
Yep.
And he looked like he could be that guy who's super athletic, still young.
6'5".
6'5", massive. Just doesn't seem to have worked out for him so far. He's got caught a couple times, but I mean, in that weight class is going to happen. Oh, Jamal.
Right when I saw that loss, I'm like, you know what? That loss doesn't age so badly because Jamal Hill is a fucking monster.
Yeah. That was a nasty fight, too. Thiago Santos. He's another one.
I was back and forth that whole time, right? What round was that? Jamal Hill.
First round.
So it wasn't as bad.
No, he got starched.
But Johnny, I think, had a couple nice little moments.
Yeah, he looked good at the start. He got starched, though. Thiago Santos, that's a tough fight, too, to lose in decision.
Oh, yeah.
And then he beat Ryan Spann.
Okay.
Who
Beast,
I believe
Superman. That was on that.
Ryan Spann is the last loss for Kutulaba.
Let's check that.
Could be right on that. If I'm right.
I wanted to pull them both up at the same time, but I also wanted to show them to you as quickly as possible.
I believe that's who.
These are things like now when I know ahead of time. Like I said, dude, this is first time experimental, maybe. We'll start having each list of all the fighters coming up, and I think you're fucking right, dog.
Come on.
Let me pull up the Sherdog stats. Shout out to Sherdog. Credit to you guys for pulling up the stats. We're loading. We got a country bandwidth back here. Not the best internet in the world, but give us some history on Jan Cutelaba.
Ooh, last fight lost to Ryan Spann.
Wow, look at that memory bank, dog. Guillotine. Shout out to me with my guillotines, dog. That's one of my favorite moves.
Frankie does have a mean.
I got a good one, boys. I got a good one.
Right, so he lost to Ryan Spann, who
don't tell me to pull up. And if you want to pull up the fights, bro.
Good. Who Johnny Walker just beat. Well, that's his last win. Johnny Walker's last win was Ryan Spann.
But how do you feel? That's interesting. How do you feel about MMA math? Do you ever rely on it? I mean,
but it can help figure out what they're good at, what they're bad at.
As a big fan of bro science, I want to believe in it, but it's just it never really seems to work out.
No,
you could do all these little.
It helps you with style matchups.
For sure.
If they're losing to wrestlers every time, obviously there's a
problem. Kutulaba's not really a wrestler or grappler. He's more of a just big brawling striker that moves forward and maybe will lock you up against a cage and kind of dirty box to wear you out, but by no means grappling.
Johnny Walker's not much of a grappler.
And I don't honestly, I don't think that's going to pair well for Johnny Walker. No. I think Cutelaba is going to push forward, push him against the cage. And this is why I love doing fucking podcasts like this, because now we'll have this on here. And then Sunday morning, I'll listen to it again and be like, what do we think about, you know what I mean? It'll be fun. So let's do our predictions and we'll just end it like that. I think Cutelaba is going to get him up against the cage. I think he's going to tire him out. We'll just switch this back and forth. Back and forth. No, back and forth with the mic. He's going to bring him up against the cage. He's going to wear him out. I think he's going to win by decision. Let's go split decision, Jan Cutelaba, first fight.
Ooh, not gonna just try and separate it one for one, but I'm gonna go Johnny Walker. Okay. And I'm gonna say first round TKO.
And that would be good for the division. Johnny Walker is someone is this light heavyweight?
Yeah.
We still want to see some potential out of Johnny Walker. We know it's there. It's just a matter of if he can break through and provide the entertainment we know he can deliver, right?
Yeah, and I'm gonna call now. I'm gonna call flying knee.
Hey yo, and
Cutelaba gonna come in, and Johnny Walker's gonna explode.
That's not a terrible. Yeah, I'm just gonna say decision because I couldn't really think of the means of victory there, but I honestly think it's just gonna be just a brutal fight where he's just putting up against the cage and tiring him out.
So Cutelaba decision.
Yep, for sure.
All right.
We should start putting stakes something like before every pay per view. We should do these. Yeah. Because that October. Are you gonna be back before October?
I come back October 5th.
All right, so we'll do one right the week before that October 22nd card. And if you're gonna be here for it, dude, my brother's gonna be off. We should just watch that card. Yeah, because we've been talking about doing a fight companion. I don't want to do it on a card super stacked like that, but on just a fight night, just like me and Kurt just sitting here and figure out a way to just bring a TV in here and just sit here talk. I think that would be so fucking fun, dude.
That'd be so much fun.
We can't really do the goods in front of the narc, but we'll just walk into the bathroom, do them, and
quick bathroom trip.
Personally, I don't really feel a tremendous need to bring up Irene Aldana's last couple fights, but we can at least see if she won. No. Her and she. I'm a big fan of the women's fight divisions, honestly, but that one, it's not a fight. Just not. Yeah, I'm gonna go take a big bong pack. I actually just recently got in. No, forget it. Both coming off wins recently. I don't know how you see this one panning out. I'm going to go first on this one. I think this is going to be another decision. I think Aldana's just gonna. Yeah, I just personally, I don't know how Chiase Macy is gonna get it done. Shout out to Macy. I'm like a bird. I want to fly away. I don't know where my home is. I don't know where my soul is. But baby, I'm a shout out to Macy Gray. It's the only other Macy I could think of. And
I have to know these words.
I know. I don't know them either, but you kind of let me down there. It was the build up just for you to, even if we didn't know it, if we said it loud enough. I know.
Because I didn't know
me too. And I was like, if he doesn't join, it's just going to be me failing. And that's what happened. So shout out to me. No, dude, come on. Aldana by decision, unanimous. Take it. Take the floor.
Yeah, I'm going to say the same.
Yeah.
Aldana decision, boring fight, probably a little bit grapple heavy.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Although this Macy Chiasson,
she's not bad at all.
I think I saw her last fight. I don't remember who she fought, but she does look.
Are you gonna make me fucking do it? I guess we're gonna pull up Macy Chiasson's last couple fights.
Throw some respect on her.
Yeah, maybe the underdog. She's number 10 going against number 4. Maybe she'll be able to come out on top. This is
I might have to change my pick here. I have a feeling her last fight was good.
I think it was against Nunez's old wife, right? No. Norma Dumont, and she's pretty good. I think she's on the undercard. She beat Norma Dumont. Decision split.
Wow.
Lost to Raquel Pennington. Beat Marion Renault. Beat Shanna Young. Yep. Irene Aldana. Yep. We're good. We're good. Macy, respect to you. I respect your haircut. You're very bold. Coming from someone without any hair, I know I'm throwing shots that I shouldn't be, but if you don't mind, we got Kevin Holland, 23-7 with a no contest versus Daniel Rodriguez, 16-2. Just real quick on them, I'm going to pull up both their shirt dogs so we can get an idea of them.
All right, so this fight is actually going to be real interesting.
For sure.
Although I think Kevin Holland's in a lot of trouble here.
Same.
He's going to be on his back a lot, which he is not proven to be good at.
Nope.
I think it'll still be entertaining because he still talks. He'll still talk on his back. But I'm going to have to say Daniel Rodriguez.
So real quick, so I can just show you his last 3 fights for Kevin Holland. No, let's go last 5. Dude, this is impressive.
His resume is nuts already.
Last fight, Bravo choke, 2nd round, Tim Means. Pretty impressive. Beat Cowboy Oliveira, elbows, 2nd round. No contest with Kyle Dawkins. Shout out to Philly, Kyle Dawkins. Eagles fly, Kyle Dawkins, Philly boy, no contest because of headbutts. He lost to Marvin Vettori, unanimous decision. Not a terrible loss.
No, that wasn't.
Vettori couldn't finish him. Their Vettori is very big. Holland is very slim and slender.
Similar match.
And then he lost to Brunson, unanimous. So not a terrible resume. And then we're going to pull up Daniel, and I'll let you kind of go off that and see what you think.
So he has fought some killers.
For sure.
And for the wrestling, I guess Vettori is very similar to Rodriguez.
Now, here is Daniel Rodriguez. Just my quick opinion. I hate sounding like a broken record here, but I kind of think it's going to be a similar approach to the Jan Cutelaba fight as far as Daniel Rodriguez running in and not so much pushing him up against the cage, but going more for a takedown. I think that's going to lead to a ground and pound finish, to be honest. I know Kevin Holland has pretty renowned jiu-jitsu. He's a Travis Lutter black belt, I'm pretty sure. Travis Lutter is no joke. I don't know. I think
you say that black belt, I don't see it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You hear black belt and you hear he's from a legit guy, but then you watch him fight. Like there was that one fight he was locking up a triangle grip from guard. Yeah. If you remember that, he was literally holding a triangle grip from guard, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm not a black belt. One day I will be, I hope. I don't think I've ever recalled. And MMA is totally different than just straight jiu-jitsu. I don't recall any high-level jiu-jitsu practitioner in MMA ever locking their guard with a triangle grip. So
or laying flat on your back.
Just sitting. Exactly. Not getting to a hip, not hip escaping, not doing any of that. Very strange, very unusual. I think Daniel Rodriguez is going to either stand up. I'm kind of bailing out of this one. Stand up, finishing with punches, or ground and pound strikes. Cade, give us your thoughts on that.
I think I'm going to go with the ground and pound.
Just seems logical,
right? I don't know if it's
right?
going to be a finish, though. I think it might be a wrestle fuck.
Just
a
decision, just
decision.
breaking him each round.
But if you look I mean, his last couple fights, he's only really fought Kevin Lee.
Yeah, like
Mike
who's
Perry's
Preston?
the next best guy other
He's
than that.
bare knuckle fighter.
Nicholas Dalby, and that was a loss.
Wow, Dalby beat Rodriguez.
Dalby beat him, yeah. So this is
maybe Rodriguez is a little bit of I don't want to say hype because I consider myself a hardcore fan, and he is like a hardcore's delight. You know, he's someone that the hardcores know.
With him was beating Kevin Lee, but
for
Kevin Lee struggled everywhere.
Yeah, right he has.
So maybe that's the case, and it wasn't him being
one of those. That's what I'm saying. Maybe he's one of those guys that it looked more impressive when you thought about the competition, and you look with Kevin Lee, like maybe he already peaked, and maybe he's over his peak now. Yeah. I don't know.
It'll be interesting. I'm gonna stick with Rodriguez though.
It's just kind of a theme. If you picked up so far, the first fight, second fight, third fight have been a little grappling heavy. I mean, we're not at the main event yet, but I think that's going to be a story different. A 5-round, just my opinion, obviously. But
it seems that way for most fights now. Though there's always one person who's at least grapple heavy and up against a big striker.
For sure,
Cole Masvidal, Usman, Masvidal.
The one thing I wish the UFC on their website.
Edwards, shout out to Leon for the knockout,
bro.
Leon Edwards.
What I mean, give us your thoughts on that. The trilogy, how that came about. Give me a little bit of your thoughts on that.
Unbelievable. I think Leon Edwards has been slept on for so many years.
I was sleeping.
Disrespected. If you've watched all of his fights, his technique is ridiculous.
It is.
Stand-up's ridiculous. His takedown defense is crazy. His takedowns are good. He's good everywhere. He's all-rounded.
You're going on that. What I kind of found annoying is the people that might not watch MMA so much and these big Diaz or whatever, they watch that Leon. Oh, well, he was going to bull fucking shit. He hit him one time significantly in 5 rounds towards the weigh-in. Nate Diaz isn't going to go in there and blitzkrieg him and finish him. No. When has he ever done that? When has he ever tagged someone with one shot and gone and finished? Yeah, Leon was a little bit wobbled. You know what would have happened? Nate would have ran in there. He would have gotten fucking check left hooked or head kicked because he rushed in there. Like, no. So stop it. Anybody can get caught when you're that high of a level. Leon was levels above Nate Diaz.
Yeah, for the whole
just fight, like Khamzat Chimaev is levels above Nate Diaz. Anyways, we got Tony Ferguson versus Li Jiangliang coming up. I'm pulling them up real quick, just the last fights. I'm sorry I didn't have these ready to go, but
Li Jiangliang, his last fight I remember was getting
Was it Khamzat? And now they're putting him as a co-main event right before him. It's just kind of a brutal reminder. Is that going to play any role in the head games for Lee, do you think?
I mean, I think after that, he's got to do something.
Oh, he beat Muslim Saliakov since then.
Did he?
Yeah.
So he has a win.
And he got a fucking TKO in round 2. Okay, 20 seconds into round 2. Performance of the night.
So now my question is he pushing for a rematch with Khamzat? So is he going to try and win this fight?
Well, don't you think if Khamzat wins this, though, it's kind of off the boogie land? Yeah, I mean, he's going.
G wins this fight and then calls him out as he's there. That could be interesting for him. I mean, I don't ever picture G being in the picture anywhere up there. But
it's not.
Khamzat's kind of outreach now. You're right. He's gone.
Well, I just think the way this is set up, the main event against a guy who's on his way out of the UFC. Now, we'll save it for the main event, but I'm trying not to get ahead of ourselves here. These are. You can just click back and forth. Tony's right here. Lee's right there. You can read them to me, and you can kind of lead the way on this one and just get my thoughts.
Right. So Lee says his last fight, like you just said, he beat Muslim Saliakov.
Nico, you would have beat his ass if you guys fought. That fight got rescheduled. You would have beat him. All right. Anyway.
Ooh, another interesting win before he lost to Khamzat was Santiago Ponzinibbio.
Big. I'm a big fan. And Lee beat him?
Yeah, Lee beat him.
Wow.
KO.
What
first
year
round
was that?
2021, January of last year. Knocked him out.
Since about 2019, 2020, Ponzinibbio has been on the up and up, and that's very impressive.
He knocked out Ponzinibbio. Performance of the night, too. If that's anything to go on, Tony Ferguson's in trouble because you look at his last few fights, and
look at the competition now.
He looked really good against Michael Chandler.
He really did.
To him. But now he's gone up. He's up a weight class now.
Yeah, it's 70. And Jiang Liang, like, it's a lot of recency bias, and someone like me was like, oh, we got ragdolled. Look who we got ragdolled by, and look who that guy's gone on to become. For those of you who don't know, the co-main event gentleman is a gentleman from one of the Asian countries. I want to say Korea, but I'm probably wrong.
Ooh.
China. Sometimes I just miss the way he says China. But the co-main event gentleman got destroyed by the gentleman in the main event, Khamzat. So interesting little wrinkle. Yeah,
he's from China.
Let's fucking go. Second guess, not terrible. When it comes to Asian cultures, you can't always get them right the first time, but if you can rebound and get the second guess right, we're not doing so bad. What are your thoughts on the fight? I mean, I've kind of heard what I need to hear as far as I'm pretty impressed with Lee's resume.
I'm impressed with both of them, actually, to be honest. But I'm gonna say Tony Ferguson.
Yep, let's fucking go. I'm picking Tony too. Some of that funky back stuff, being off his back. I know Chael Sonnen. If you listen to him, I listen to him. He's really big on. People talk about the back game. How many fighters have really successfully won off their back in MMA? And it's a very small number when you take into consideration how many fights go on. But I think Tony's elbows, his scramble ability, his stand-up, his
Shout out to Nico Price for winning off the back, by the way.
Wow, you hear that, Nico?
KO off the back.
Said nobody wins off their back, and my boy Kate had to correct me. Yeah, I was fucking there for that up kick too, dude. UFC Tampa, I'll never forget that shit. Fucking love you, dude. Thanks for the swag, dude. See you Tuesday night, hopefully. Yeah, I think Tony's going to win. I don't really know a method. Do you have anything in mind as far as the method?
No, I'm just the way G got manhandled. Tony Ferguson has never been manhandled like that.
But then he finished a guy like Saliakov, who's thick, who's big, who's a grappler, who's strong. Like
I just
Tony's
think
a complete
Tony's different level. Tony's going to outstrike him. I don't know about finish. I'm going to say decision. Decision win, Tony Ferguson.
Peak Tony was one of my all-time favorite fighters. I was singing from the mountaintops for years about him. And
question. What's your over-under on how many rolls Tony does during the fight? From
M&R rolls or
just escape rolls, just his crazy shit. I'm gonna say.
Let's set the over-under at 2.5.
Yeah, 2.5 over-under. That's a good.
Are you going over or under that?
I'm gonna
go over at 3.
Let's see. He has to be in danger for it to be over. I'm gonna go under. I don't think he's gonna be in danger.
Now, is he gonna be like an omoplata? No, he's not gonna roll out of that. Is he gonna roll for maybe an ankle submission?
Maybe.
Potentially. That's one thing in an M&R roll to maybe grab a leg and go for a heel hook or something.
Sorry,
we're nerding out a little bit for MMA.
When he gets hurt.
True that.
I don't think he's going to get hurt in this fight.
Yeah, I'm going to go actually change my tone to under. I'm going to say 1 roll.
1 roll?
Yeah, one roll.
Two.
One
just
roll.
Underneath the middle mark.
1 roll. Tony Ferguson by Victor. Let's say TKO to strikes. Let's fucking boogie. Nah, you know what? Submission. Don't know the submission, but Tony Ferguson's second round submission.
All right. I'm going decision, unanimous. Tony Ferguson.
Unanimous decision. All right, guys. Final topic of the day leads us to the big moment of truth. Unfortunately, I'm going to be in Virginia this weekend. Not unfortunately. If you're a fan of comedy, I'm going to see Mark Norman. My sister lives in Richmond.
I don't know who Mark Norman is.
Do your fucking
say not that big of a fan.
No, trust me. Do you listen to Rogan?
Yeah.
The Protect Our Parks. Have you listened to any of those? Okay. That's literally go download it right away on Spotify and listen. He pretty much has Ari Shaffir, Shane Gillis, and Mark Norman on once a month or something. It's just the 4 of them. It's the funniest podcast you'll ever listen to. I'm telling you, it's the best. Shane Gillis is a comedian from Philly. Does the Trump impressions. It's fucking hysterical. Ari Shaffir is goddamn hilarious. All right, yeah. Listen to that. I'll literally send you the link.
Yeah.
But where are we going with that?
Comedy.
Mark Norman. So I'm going to my sister. Shout out to Jill. My sister's pregnant, about to have a baby next month. Going to visit her in Virginia, see a comedy show, and then her husband's a big UFC fan. So the only unfortunate thing is not going to be here to watch with my brother and my dad, who I watch all the cards with. But my brother's off for the weekend. But we got Khamzat Chimaev, Nate Diaz in the main event. All right. I mean, this is what we do it for, right? I mean, this is for all the marbles. We got Diaz. Very disgruntled. He's on the last fight of his contract. He's looking for that Jake Paul boxing match.
Hey, this is win-win, I think.
Truly.
For Nate.
All right, go on it. Go on it.
It's a win-win situation.
Tell me about it. Why?
If Nate Diaz loses, then the UFC can get rid of him and get rid. Dana doesn't like putting up with him.
Yeah.
But if Nate Diaz wins this fight,
it's pandemonium.
Complete pandemonium because Khamzat has been put.
They're got
him to push. If he loses to Nate Diaz and Nate Diaz takes all that, Dana's going to be in some trouble. But then it's win-win because guess what? The biggest fight in UFC history would be.
All right. Sorry, guys. We're running out of time here. Talk to us.
It sets it up. If Nate Diaz wins this fight and becomes.
No, you're so right. Oh, my God. You're so right. I hate it. For those of you who don't know, this fucking bitch is the biggest Conor McGregor fanboy. And I, the other bitch, am one of McGregor's biggest haters. But if you're not familiar, McGregor and Diaz have fought twice, and Kate is making the case.
This is how it comes back. And this is why I think Conor's going to hold out a little bit.
And trilogy in MMA has become the new thing, has it not? I mean, all these things now have become either double champ or these trilogy fights. If you look, see all these fights recently that have been happening. I mean, it leads the McGregor Poirier, was that a trilogy? Or was it 2 that have gone? I mean, McGregor's got
a trilogy, but it didn't really.
You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, there's a lot of fights out there that have gone to the trilogy. I can't think off the top of my head, but it's definitely becoming a thing. That the Kamaru Leon thing, the Figueiredo Moreno. I mean, it's just becoming a little more common now. And holy fuck, what would be bigger than that? You got UFC Golden Line, but how would that work, Gabe? Because they would have to totally re-sign Diaz, correct? I mean, what's that going to?
Well, if he wins this, he becomes #1 contender. So I'm guessing he would go on a 1-fight contract, where if he wins the #1 contender, he's a champion, and he has to stay another year.
Holy shit!
But he can beat Leon. He could, or both. If I know, don't out of hate, I know. If there was a person in the welterweight division in the last 5 years that was champion that Conor could beat, it's now. Tyron Woodley would have been scary. Usman would have been scary.
Fuck, dude.
Leon Edwards is beatable. Nate Diaz tagged.
All right, we're talking prime Conor McGregor. Yeah, sure. This is not prime McGregor. You are still you're living in a delusional world if you think Conor McGregor is still this. He's calling out fucking Hasbulla, dude. Talk to me about that. I got you. You're not a prime MMA fighter at the peak of your powers calling out a fucking.
You can't tell me you wouldn't like to see him volley him. That would be amazing.
Fuck off, dude. No, I wouldn't like to see that. I just want to point out something real quick.
Despite your hatred for Conor.
No.
All I was saying was it sets up one of the biggest fight in history.
No, that would probably be the #1 UFC fight of all time.
For sure. 100%.
For numbers, it would be. The UFC's grown. Dana's kind of ingratiated himself now with the fucking full send little tools. So it's reaching a whole new audience. The younger generation's into it. Anybody hears Conor McGregor like this shitbag, they just lose it. No, I'm just kidding. You're a true hardcore MMA fan. You just happen to like the one guy that's just. Now, I'm trying to get to Conor McGregor's last couple fights, and all it's showing is just all the arrest pictures. I'm not even kidding. The other day, the guy's fucking putting up on Instagram the video of him getting sucked off by his wife. I mean, who does that? This is the mother of your children, and you're putting that online, bro? No, like, come on, dude. Have a little respect.
Let the man live.
Dee is a great woman, and you're doing that.
She's
like,
a nice lady.
Yeah, and oh my God. Conor McGregor. The longer I go, the better it is for him. So we'll be fair. Lost to Dustin Poirier, TKO. Lost to Dustin Poirier, TKO. Nope. Beats Donald Cerrone by shoulder striking him. Donald Cerrone was so washed up at this point, it's not even funny. No, I was a big Cowboy fan. I was saddling up. It's over, dude. This fight was a joke. Cowboy was notorious. I loved him in the beginning, but you know why I stopped liking him? Because every other fight, it would seem, he would show up and not be there mentally. This fight was a poster child for that. Cowboy Cerrone. He showed up. He was not there. He didn't want to fight. He's fucking getting grappled and shoulder struck by Conor. Hey, how about outside tripping Conor McGregor? Huh? I mean, you got him grabbed up with a body lock. Just fucking trip him. He's going to go down and he's not going to know what to do. He's going to be mounted, hugging you from the bottom because he has no fucking idea what to do.
Oh, stop.
All right, I'm sorry, but you're getting me fired. You know I was going to get fired up when you brought up McGregor, and I knew when I told you to lead this main event thing, you were going to go, we have Khamzat Chimaev and Nate Diaz, and no, I love that you did that. Honestly, it honestly is amazing, but no time limit. Yeah, let's fucking go. Conor McGregor, yeah, he lost to Donald, beat Donald, lost to Khabib. Probably Khabib's toughest fight, arguably. I mean, I'll give him that. Al Iaquinta or Conor, one of those two. I'll be honest, Eddie Alvarez, I was like, no chance. Wrestler.
Philly boy. There's your
Philly boy. I mean, he got.
That's why you hate Conor.
No, I hated Conor after the Dennis after the Dennis Seaver fight, I was completely out of McGregor. Great fight, by the way.
I run this shit.
Chad Mendes, he beat him. He destroyed Aldo, which was, I mean, you were just talking about Leon Edwards. Real quick. Top 3 most shocking UFC moments you've witnessed in history. For me, McGregor Aldo, number 3. Leon Usman, number 2. And Ronda Rousey Holmes, still number 1.
Ronda Holmes?
That still was most shocking. Give me your 3 most shocking. I mean, Kamaru and Leon was just fucking.
Yeah, that one was shocking. I would say Conor Aldo for sure. Has to
number
be.
1. I mean, my jaw. I'm trying. My jaw for Leon and Usman was literally on the floor for a minute. Like,
I'm gonna give you a good one here. You're gonna. Say,
I know.
As soon as I say it, you're gonna say, "Oh shit!"
Because I can remember my jaw dropping for one. I can't think of it.
Tyron Woodley, Kamaru Usman.
That was crazy.
When Usman just manhandled
Woodley
him.
was at the peak of his
Woodley
powers.
Was scary.
Overhand right, grappling, Wonder Boy domination.
Usman manhandled him.
That was. I still think my three off the top of my head. That was just off the dome. I think I'm sticking with those. But is Woodley in your top three for that? I mean, over Rousey
right
maybe?
Now? Yeah, I mean Rousey.
That's when I was living in New Jersey, dude, and we were all. I'm not even lying about this. We were all so big on the Rousey train. How it would work is I was living with my dad, my sister, and her boyfriend at the time. I would have 2 or 3 of my friends over. He would have 2 or 3 of his friends over. We would have 10, 11. I mean, my early years of UFC. This is how I got into it. It was amazing, and we were all watching all the Rousey fights. We were so stunned by the way they were going. The week of that Holly Holm fight, I literally was like, fuck it, I'm rooting for Holly Holm. And on a Tuesday or Wednesday, I decided when that shit happened, bro, I was so happy because Rousey's attitude, everything was really starting to sour on me. Yeah, and the way that she got fucking bullied, dog, it was amazing.
Yeah, that was an enjoyable moment.
I didn't incredible. Like her much, to be honest. No, I never. We liked her a lot in the beginning. I admit I did. I thought she was so hot. And then once I stopped liking her, I was like, she's so blah, blah, blah.
Troll.
Yeah, truly.
That's funny.
So, yeah, the Nate Diaz fights, it's hard to not talk about those, right?
That Conor Eddie fight was surprising for me, too.
Insane. I was stunned. But that was another one I was stunned because Eddie's wrestling, his pedigree, his fights with Chan, everything. Eddie was just, and Eddie still, he's a beast.
Conor made him look like an amateur.
He looked truly pathetic. Okay, I guess, yeah, I mean, there's definitely a case for Nate Diaz, like we talked about the contract going up, but he's got some, no matter what for him, it's a win-win.
It's win-win, yeah.
Win-win. That's it. That's your overall summary. And then let's go to Hamzat. Here's his most recent. So
what do they do with Hamzat?
What do they do? I mean, the nice thing about Hamzat and MMA is the one loss isn't the death blow. In boxing, if you got this prospect coming up 25-0 and he's fighting someone like Diaz, if he loses, yeah, it's probably over. MMA, you lick your wounds, you go back to the drawing board, you start sparring with Till again, you figure it out. I think there's plenty of matchups at welterweight or even middleweight for him. I'm not worried.
Yeah, look at his matchups. But he hasn't had any fights, really.
No, and I'm like,
Mearshart is a joke.
I mean, he just had a finish here today.
Come on. As a top,
he trains with Rufus. I mean, he knows he's a professional fighter.
Yes,
he's been around for a while. He's a professional fighter.
Yeah. CM Punk was technically a professional fighter too.
No, he wasn't. He got licensed. He wasn't a professional. Yeah, no, I mean, Hamzat came on the scene, I think 6-0 here, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. His first fight, John Phillips. He did something that's never really been done before. I think he had 3 fights. And so he debuted on July 16th of 2020, had another fight July 26th. So 10 days later at the highest level of MMA competition.
Did he change weight too?
I think he did, 170 and then 185?
Yeah.
Yep. So he fought between a 15-pound discrepancy, which is insane, in a 10-day period. If you're not following MMA, I can't stress how insane that is. I mean, for a fighter to drop or go from 170 to 185 is crazy, let alone to do it on 10 days to be your first 2 fights. Fucking crazy. Had a little bit of a layoff by his standards. Fought, 3 months later?
Yeah.
Fought Gerald Mearshart. Literally
magic of the mustache,
circled around the octagon. Literally, these Dagestan guys, look out. If you see a guy in the streets with a beard and no mustache, run. In high school, you guys would have been scared of me. Yeah. Gerald Mearshart, about 15 seconds, I think 17 seconds. Hamzat just kind of circled him like prey. One right hand, over. Lee, who's Li Jiangliang, co-main event tonight, this weekend. Hamzat, I believe, literally walked over to the octagon, picked him up, dragged him in front of Dana White, and beat him up in front of Dana and just started talking shit, channeling some Khabib.
Yeah.
And then he just had a really good fight fresh out of the pandemic. You were actually there in person, seeing the Wolf in person, Hamzat versus Gilbert. Not as invincible as we thought, right?
No,
Gilbert really had some highlights and some moments there. So talk to us about seeing that in person, where you think Hamzat's vulnerable, and what you think of the main event this Saturday.
So first of all, Gilbert Burns, that's a huge win. Huge win. But Hamzat got tagged quite a bit in that fight.
Multiple times.
So that's going into this fight, that's what I'm thinking is Gilbert Burns striking, I don't really rate quite as highly as Diaz.
See, now the thing I would say with that is the power. Diaz is the cardio and the pace, and he'll keep tagging you with these 1s and 2s and hooks. But man, you're not getting really right? No. Would you agree with that?
No,
I mean,
yeah, for sure.
Burns has that little bit of that leather power, dog, where he can pack a punch and get you wobbling a little bit. So
But it's going to be interesting to see how Hamzat deals with volume striking as opposed to pop shotting.
That's a great point.
No matter what he does, if he stands with Diaz for 3 to 5 rounds, he's going to get hit.
Yeah.
You fight Nate Diaz, you're going to get hit because he'll take everything you throw.
And Nate's not getting tired. I mean, let's be honest. He's going to take the shot. He's got a chin. He's got the cardio. So I think the main thing, keep it standing, right? Yeah. I mean, stuff the takedowns and avoid getting I mean, that's like the obvious statement of the day, but
Nate's jiu-jitsu on his back is nasty too.
Dude, now like going into this, I'm like, no way about Hamzat. Like, no way he loses. And now we're talking through it, and I don't know. I'm kind of
Nate's triangle, his guard in general.
Yeah,
Nate's guard is good.
Well, just the pace. That's what I'm thinking. The cardio and the pace.
The late rounds against Burns, Hamzat slowed down.
Yeah,
he got
the Burns' moments were in 2 and 3 for sure. The latter rounds of 2 and 3.
So I think if Nate can survive an early onslaught, because he is going to get mad.
Are you picking Nate solely off the Conor McGregor trilogy?
I haven't decided if I'm picking Nate yet.
I'm right.
But
I'm literally dancing on the fence.
I think he has everything to win.
He does.
This would be the biggest.
Styles make fights, and this matchup stylistically is there.
Timing ran out with the Conor fight. It's past now. Nobody wants to see that. However, if Nate Diaz beats Hamzat and is in line for a title shot.
Am I crazy? I've always been on board with the trilogy fight for Conor and Nate, though. I've always wanted to see that.
Yeah, I mean, most fans that have seen the fights, but it's hard to make that a huge main fight on the card now. Like, there's no belt. They're both falling off. They both lost their last couple fights. But
true.
Even if Nate just wins the number 1 contender spot by beating Hamzat, and now they say, all right, Conor's going to fight Nate. Winner fights for the belt at welterweight. That's the best way they could sell that fight.
I literally want that. Like,
in the last 5 years, it's the only way.
Conor, honestly, like, there's not many guys left I think he could beat as far as top contenders. Nate Diaz is, like, Conor will beat him. He'll beat him.
I think it's still a tough fight. That matchup, I hate it.
I just am not. I'm contradicting myself here because I'm trying to call myself into Nate Diaz winning, but I'm not impressed.
It's deep waters, though.
Yeah.
Conor in deep waters is trouble. When he's because he doesn't sit.
Conor's cardio and
Nate the first and second fight.
He does, but the thing that I'll never forgive with Conor is how quickly he tapped once that rear naked choke got locked in. He didn't make any attempt to roll to fight. I know he was exhausted, but you don't just tap literally right away. Like, and he shot for the takedown. Why the fuck he's taking him down like that? He gave up in that fight, and the minute you see that happen once, it can happen in any fight. I've never really seen Nate give up. I'm not saying he's had every fight's been impressive, but I've never seen him give up. And that's something that has to be said, for sure. So
I wouldn't say Conor. I mean, I know what you're saying, but
I'm trying to talk myself into Nate. I can't do it.
Experience for Conor, and that was massive for Nate. And I think this one could be massive for Nate. I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna say Nate Diaz, unanimous decision.
Wow. All 5 rounds, Nate's winning. Are you saying Hamzat's maybe going to sneak one in?
First round, Hamzat's going to
take down, win the first round.
I think he smashes him in the first round.
And Nate survives.
Maybe cuts him bad. And then second round, Nate catches Hamzat towards the latter second round. Nate catches him with something that turns the tides. And 3, 4. Wait, it's going to be 5 round or 3?
5 round. Main event.
Yeah, Nate Diaz.
I love decision. It. Honestly, I love it.
This is what's going to be in the ring.
Now, are they going to – where is this fight taking place?
That's a good question.
I want to say it's I'm not sure, but I was just at T-Mobile Arena.
Vegas,
what do you think of the chances of them flying out Conor McGregor and putting him ringside? In the scenario, no chance, right? But just imagine, like, if –
when is that? Conor's never at anyone.
Never.
I've never seen him at any of it.
But I'm just saying – yeah, I don't think they would really stack the deck for Nate, but I'm just thinking if Nate were to win and have him call out McGregor right there.
But what if Conor shows up and Nate loses? Then what? Then Hamzat.
But then now I'm kind of like, are you thinking if Nate wins this, is he going right to the Conor trilogy or is he going right for Leon's belt? But if Kamaru beats Leon in the rematch.
If Nate Diaz wins this fight, Nate will get the fight before his.
Do you have interest in seeing Leon and Nate again? I don't.
Only because of the stakes. Only because
I just one little moment, 25 minutes, he had 30 seconds, and everyone's acting like it's, you know what I mean?
This is his last push, though.
If
he beats Hamzat, this is his last chance to win a belt.
Yeah.
Never had a belt.
For sure. Never had, never will. Never had, never will.
Conor McGregor for it. That's a massive payday for him.
Never had, never will. Khamzat Chimaev, second round TKO. He's going to get him to the ground. He's going to finish him with a flurry of strikes, punches, elbows from the top. I don't see a way Nate's going to be able to stop it. I respect Nate. He's awesome. He's going to lose this fight. He's going to go out and box. One boxing fight against Jake Paul, make all the money he's ever going to need. He'll be done fighting, and good for him. I'm happy for him. He'll get out on his terms on the UFC.
As much as I don't want to talk about Jake Paul, did you see Anderson Silva?
Yeah. Give us your thoughts on that.
I mean, I think this is the first time that Jake's fighting someone that could actually beat him.
Say what you want about Jake Paul, guys. He's not shying away from challenges. I mean, he's trying. He tried to fight. He tried to fight right. He tried to fight Rahman, a real boxer. I mean, he's had some farces as far as boxing matches so far, but he's just building up a resume. And Ben Askren, Nate Robinson, whatever. Tyron Woodley. Still think it might have been scripted. Whatever. There's just, I don't know. I don't have much thoughts on that. I think Jake Paul could definitely win. Anderson Silva's 47 years old now. He just beat that young Chavez Jr., I believe. So he can do it. He did look good, and
no power though.
He doesn't have power, but he still has the hand movements, and boxing is point based. So I think he definitely has a chance.
For sure, if he can avoid Jake Paul's big right hand.
Here we are. I'm not scared. I like Jake Paul. I'm a fan of what he's doing for MMA. I like boxing is not really as relevant as it once was. I think he's kind of helping boxing a little bit. Fight or pay. I don't see where the guy's doing any harm. Trying to challenge.
Cool. That's the heart. Nobody likes him.
Yeah, I mean, I like him. Honestly, I don't have anything against him.
You like Jake Paul, but you hate Conor McGregor.
Yes, truth.
Problem in the world.
Perhaps. Any final words, Cade? I think this has been great, bro. I'm so happy to have you.
We need to do this.
I hope you know that this morning before you came over, I already ordered this exact one. So I already have another microphone coming. So next time we'll just have one set up on each side. We'll get a little bit more room and, maybe get my brother on one of these, have us three talking. So definitely build up in the future. And just want to thank you again for coming on, bro. The first Verbal Garbage in guest studio. And before you leave, I want to get a little selfie so I can promote it on the Instagram. So thank you guys for listening. Like I said, I know not everybody's a big sports fan. Got 2 NFL episodes this week and an MMA episode. So just bear with me. I'm mixing in all the things I like and doing it for fun, So Cade, my boy, thanks so much for coming on. Thank you guys all for listening. And Cade's going to be back. So hope you guys enjoyed this.
See you guys next time.
Hell yeah, bro.
Sick.